Today, we're stepping back in time to vintage Vegas, to the kind of place that's getting harder to find. You've probably driven right past. So is this part of Vegas still worth your time? Well, on the Strip, in the Vegas Historic District, is one of the city's oldest surviving hotels, the Shalimar, a place that feels less like a hotel and more like a time capsule. It's easy to overlook. I missed it, even while hunting for other hidden gems. But step inside, and everything changes. Free parking, a beautiful pool, all tucked inside a classic old-school Vegas property. And if the night takes a Vegas turn, there's even a wedding chapel on site. By the end of this, I might have found a new favorite. Also, stay tuned to the end when we announce a special offer just for our viewers. So what is this place? Aqua Bar and Grill. Welcome to Let's Eat Vegas, your guide to the good, the bad, and the delicious. I'm a chef and former restaurant owner, and I tell it like it is. Okay, let's get started. I know you're probably thinking, "Arg, not another shrimp cocktail." Yes, every place has shrimp cocktail. So what's so special here at Aqua? Well, trust me, you've probably never had shrimp cocktail like this shrimp cocktail. It's not your mother's version. It's beautiful, Instagram worthy, and the flavor goes even further than the presentation. What makes this dish special is that it leans toward the style of shrimp cocktail you often see in Cuba and across parts of the Caribbean. Instead of the thick ketchup and horseradish sauce many Americans grew up with, Cuban versions tend to be brighter and more tropical. Citrus, fruit, and light sauces are common, reflecting the island's love of fresh seafood and vibrant flavors. And that's exactly what you get at Aqua. The shrimp are served in a delicate house-made pink rosa sauce mixed with diced mango, pineapple, green onions, and chopped red onion. It's colorful, lively, and absolutely gorgeous in the glass, with a flavor that's every bit as stunning. The shrimp are incredibly fresh with that clean, ocean-kissed sweetness you hope for, but don't always get. Every bite is refreshing. It's a showstopper of a dish, and easily one of the most enjoyable shrimp cocktails I've had in a very long time. These are little bites of heaven. And the sauce you dip them in is spectacular. If you're already a croquette lover as I am, then you're in for a treat. These are some of the best I've had in a long time. If you've never had one, think of something like a cheese-filled arancini. But honestly, forget the comparisons, just order them. I promise you'll love them. Years ago, I had many Brazilian friends when I lived in Hollywood. Croquettes were everywhere. They're addictive, and I've certainly eaten my fair share. These are done beautifully. Soft, fresh cheese is folded into rich, creamy bechamel, which is a simple sauce made from butter, cream, and thickened with flour. That mixture is formed into a ball and fried until the exterior turns light and crisp. Bite into one and the crust shatters. Inside remains warm, soft, flowing cheese and silky bechamel. They're seasoned perfectly. The dipping sauce is a house-made aioli with a bright hint of lemon. Fresh, lively, and the perfect partner for the croquettes. Together, they're a match made in heaven. A beautifully satisfying Cuban espresso, dark, deep, and rich, finished with a layer of sweetened condensed milk. A great way to get a jolt of caffeine. Fresh red snappers cut into strips, breaded, and prepared much like an elevated fish stick. But these are nothing like the Mrs. Paul's many of us grew up with. Let me know if you remember Mrs. Paul's. As a kid, I used to wonder if she and the Morton's fishermen were an item. Anyway, these are scratch-made. Each piece is dipped in breading and fried to a beautifully crisp perfection. The result is light, golden, and remarkably clean tasting. Just delicate fish inside a perfectly crunchy shell. A squeeze of fresh lemon brightens everything and brings the snapper to life. The house-made aioli is excellent. It has the spirit of a classic tartar sauce, but with brighter, livelier notes of lemon and dill, finished with just a hint of sweetness that rounds it out wonderfully. This turned out to be a very pleasant dish. The empanadas arrive piping hot, straight from the fryer. One of the other restaurants owned by this group is one of Las Vegas's most loved Cuban bakeries. We asked, and sure enough, all the bread and pastries here are made from scratch, and it shows. Empanadas have deep roots across Spain and Latin America, and Cuba embraced them generations ago. They became a staple in Cuban bakeries and cafes, flaky pastries filled with savory meats or cheese, meant to be eaten warm and shared with friends. These are beautifully done. So light, they practically fly off the plate. Crisp and delicate, yet somehow not greasy at all. It's almost miraculous how little oil they've absorbed. You have your choice of ham and cheese or ground beef. I went with the ground beef. The filling is rich and deeply savory, packed with that slow-cooked umami flavor you hope for in a good empanada. And then there's the chimichurri. Bright pops of peppers, good olive oil, fresh garlic, and parsley. Simple, right? But in a city filled with chimichurri, this is the best I've had in Vegas. The pastry itself is a thing of beauty. Light, flaky, and golden. Honestly, they don't even need the sauce. They're fantastic on their own. But you'll be torn, wanting to put that sauce on everything. My solution? Eat the empanada as served, then drink down the chimichurri with a spoon. Wow, so good. This behemoth went to Javi and his friends at the next table. Wow, what a food lover's fantasy come true. It's a little of everything, or as they say,
un poco de todo.
Big enough to feed 8, Javi was nice enough to let us try a few bites. You get 8 croquettes, 8 empanadas, 8 classic bruschetta, and a mountain of the Perlan breaded snapper and crispy fried shrimp. Spectacular. If you like food reviews that explain why something does or does not work and isn't just hype, well, consider subscribing. Did you know, according to YouTube, 60% of you viewing right now are not subscribed? It means a lot to us and helps us grow. Here we have beautifully grilled, marinated flap meat, cooked to any temperature you like. No surprise, I ordered it on the rare side of medium rare, but order it however you wish. It arrives topped with more of that fantastic signature chimichurri, and it gets even better because they bring you an extra on the side. Flap meat has always been one of my favorite cuts of beef. It's one of those darling cuts, favored among chefs, because it delivers huge beef flavor and responds to marinades beautifully. When it's cooked properly as this is, it stays tender while bringing incredible depth of flavor. As for chimichurri, it became widely known in American restaurants in the late 1980s and early 1990s as Argentine and South American grilling culture started gaining popularity. In those traditions, grilled beef and chimichurri are inseparable. Bright herbs, garlic, olive oil, and vinegar cutting through the richness of the meat. And this steak, fresh, tender, and carries a beautiful smoky flavor from the grill. It's seasoned properly before it ever reaches the table, the mark of a confident kitchen. You won't need to add salt to anything here. And that chimichurri is addictive. I know, I'm obsessed. It brings the entire steak to life. The potatoes deserve an honorable mention as the supporting cast on the plate. They're roasted until crisp on the outside, tossed with coarse salt, fresh garlic, and fragrant rosemary. Absolutely delicious. Dip them in your chimichurri, and they get even better. The arugula salad keeps things balanced, light, fresh, and smartly dressed with a bright vinaigrette and good olive oil. This is a fantastic plate of food, not to be missed, and you'll thank me later. Keep in mind, they make their desserts in-house, and it would be a crime to miss them. Their sister restaurant, Havana Grill, has long held a reputation for producing some of the finest scratch-made pastries in Las Vegas, and this dessert demonstrates why that reputation is well-deserved. The cake is built from delicate layers of chocolate sponge, filled with a rich hazelnut cream and a crisp hazelnut crunch layer that adds wonderful texture. The chocolate cake itself is so good it could easily stand on its own, but the addition of those hazelnut layers elevated into something truly special. Finished with edible gold and fresh raspberries, it's both elegant and indulgent. A beautiful way to end any meal, and the perfect finale to our first visit. The bruschetta mix is a selection of all 4 of the bruschettas, which can be ordered separately, but honestly, this is a lot more fun. First, I have to give them credit. The bread is made from scratch at their sister restaurant, the Havana Grill, and it's sensational. Light, airy, with a delicate crust and a fresh yeasty aroma that immediately tells you this is real bread, not something pulled from a tie-wrapped grocery bag. The The prosciutto is layered with a beautifully garlicky herb cheese, fresh arugula, and their house-made fig jam. And yes, they make every element of these bruschettas themselves by hand. It's the mark of true artisans. Each bite balances salty prosciutto, sweet fig, and the bright freshness of the greens. Simple flavors, thoughtfully assembled, and deeply satisfying. There are plenty of gluten-free and vegetarian options here. Let me tell you, you're not going to miss the meat. The base is a roasted red pepper sauce, beautifully prepared, with flavors that could best be described as romesco adjacent. It's balanced, vibrant, with an amazing fresh flavor. The vegetables, red peppers, onions, and carrots are perfectly grilled and lightly marinated. Everything is seasoned with care and finished with fresh goat cheese that adds a creamy tang. It's colorful, flavorful, and surprisingly hearty. I grew up eating this style of bruschetta, so this one carries a lot of nostalgia for me. Fresh diced tomatoes are tossed with garlic, sea salt, olive oil, and basil, then piled onto that fantastic house bread. The top is finished with pesto and a drizzle of balsamic reduction. It's bright, rustic, and comforting. Not delicate, not fussy, just classic Italian flavors done right. And this one is my personal favorite. There's a lot happening in each bite, but it all works together beautifully. Garlic herb cheese forms the base, followed by arugula, smoked salmon, and capers, all finished with their scratch-made red pepper dressing. Call it a sauce, call it a dressing, either way, it's simply delicious. The salmon is firm and properly salty, very much in the style of good Nova Scotia salmon. The capers bring little bursts of briny brightness that wake up the whole dish. Rich, lively, and layered with flavor, a standout among an already excellent selection. They have a full bar with some of the tastiest drinks I've had in some time. This one is stunning. Light rum, blue curacao, sweet and sour, and pineapple juice. And I'm a sucker for a good mojito. Rum and mint, what's not to like? This is right up there with the one I had at the Wynn. Incredibly delicious, and the type of drink, if you're not careful, that could lead to one of those Vegas moments. My grandfather's favorite dish was oxtail stew. He was from Austria, where it's deeply loved, so it appeared often on our dining room table. Over the years, I've noticed Las Vegas is actually one of the best places to find it. With so many cultures represented here, the city has become a melting pot for this wonderful slow-cooked classic. Here, the stew is ultra-rich and deeply savory. The oxtails are braised until tender in a dark, umami-laden demi-glace reduction that's absolutely not to be missed. It has the profound depth you only get from patient cooking and careful technique. A classic mirepoix of carrots, celery, and onions form the traditional foundation, giving the stew warmth and balance. Gentle herbs and spices round out the richness of the oxtail, keeping the dish hearty without becoming overwhelming. It's served with a beautiful garlic rice that pairs perfectly with the stew. Take a little oxtail, some of that luscious sauce, and a forkful of rice all in the same bite, and it transforms into the very definition of comfort food. The portion is generous, with plenty of meat and sauce to savor. Alongside are sweet plantains sautéed with garlic and finished with Parmesan. They're delicious on their own, but what really elevates them are the fresh green onions on top. They're not just a garnish, they add bright little pops of flavor that bring the whole plate to life. Beautiful on the plate, and even better on the palate. A fresh salmon fillet is seasoned with warm, aromatic spices, then gently sautéed in olive oil with a splash of lime. The fish is served over a bed of savory grilled peppers and carrots, creating a colorful foundation that adds both sweetness and depth. It's finished with a silky, lightly buttery sauce, brightened with capers that bring little bursts of briny acidity. The sauce adds richness without overpowering the fish, giving the dish a beautiful balance between elegance and comfort. The salmon itself is clearly treated with respect. It's not overcooked, which allows the fish to retain its natural integrity and that distinctive, slightly briny flavor you expect from wild-caught salmon. Alongside are garlic, rosemary, roasted potatoes, crispy on the outside, tender within, and infused with fresh, sliced garlic and rosemary that perfumes the olive oil they roasted in. They're deeply aromatic and wonderfully satisfying. A tart, light salad of fresh arugula adds bright, peppery notes that cut through the richness and cleanse the palate between bites. It's a thoughtful touch that keeps this dish lively from start to finish.
You had me at capers.
Good paella isn't just about the seafood. It's about the rice absorbing all the flavor in the pan. This dish is huge, could easily feed a small army, or a very few hungry influencers who will remain nameless. I love paella. It's one of those dishes I truly fell in love with after traveling through Spain, and it's something I crave whenever I see it on a menu. It has its roots in Valencia, where it began as a rustic rice dish cooked over an open fire. Saffron, seafood, and rice slowly absorb the flavors of the broth in the pan. When it's done right, it becomes something truly special. And I'm a huge fan of saffron, as many of you know. Do you love saffron as well? Just write saffron in the comments below to let me know. Seafood lovers will be very happy with this. This paella is fit for a king. It's loaded with shrimp, clams, mussels, and large crab legs. Be sure to order it in advance, since it's made fresh to order. The rice is a thing of beauty, deep, rich flavor in every bite. Squeeze a little lemon over the top, and the citrus wakes everything up. And if you're lucky, you'll find those prized, crispy bits of rice at the bottom of the pan, what the Spanish call socarrat. Paella aficionados know that's one of the best parts. The pan is filled with shrimp, calamari, baby clams, peas, tomatoes, and fresh carrots. And the crab isn't just decoration, it's fresh, sweet, and comes right out of the shell without a fight. Every bite is packed with flavor. You may get your hands a little messy, but it's absolutely worth the effort. This may very well be the best New York cheesecake in the city. Try it and tell me what you think. It's light, creamy, and has all the hallmarks that give a true New York cheesecake its unmistakable appeal. The filling is smooth and rich without feeling heavy, delivering that perfect balance between sweetness and tang. On top is that classic light, slightly tart layer that cheesecake lovers recognize immediately. Beneath it sits a beautiful graham cracker crust, exactly the kind you hope for when you think of a proper New York cheesecake. It's finished with fresh raspberries and blueberries that add a bright burst of flavor to each bite. After tasting this, I have a feeling I'll be heading to Havana Grill's bakery very soon to pick up a whole one or two. So put this on your Vegas dessert bucket list. This is not to be missed. After 2 visits and more plates than I cared to admit, one thing became very clear to me. Aqua Bar and Grill is doing something special. In a city with more than 5,000 restaurants, it's not easy to stand out. Las Vegas is filled with big names, big budgets, and places designed to impress. But every now and then, you find a place that reminds you why people fall in love with restaurants in the first place. And this is one of those places. Because this isn't just about the food. It's about how it feels to be here. It's about hospitality that actually feels genuine. It's about dishes that are made with care and meant to be enjoyed, not just photographed. And yes, the food absolutely delivers. The paella alone is worth the trip. The churrasco and chimichurri back it up. And the oxtail stew, that's the kind of dish you don't soon forget. But what really stood out to me is this. In a part of Las Vegas that still feels like a time capsule, this place isn't stuck in the past. It's alive, and it's doing things the right way. So if you're looking for something different, something real, something that feels like the Las Vegas a lot of people miss, Aqua Bar and Grill is absolutely worth your time. And when you go, who knows, maybe you'll see us there, as we'll be back here very soon. In fact, we've already been back twice. Now here's that special offer. Tell them Let's Eat Vegas sent you, and receive 10% off your meal. If you like finding these hidden places, wait until you see our Hidden Gems video. We break down some of the best hidden spots in all of Las Vegas. And if you want more Vegas food finds, we've got another great one for you right here. If you enjoyed this video, liking, subscribing, or commenting helps us bring you more reviews. Until we eat again, bon appetit.